And we're live. Hey, everybody, Kelly Byrnes here with Sharon Villegas. How's it going, Sharon?
Good. How are you doing, Kelly?
I am doing well too. So, hopefully, everybody can't hear my dog whimpering, but as usual, dog challenges when we're working from home. But I'm really excited to introduce you to everyone and share your experience and your I don't know if it's your broadcasting message, but you certainly are inspiring. And Sharon came to my attention because in tracking organizations and success, somebody reached out and shared, do you know this company had an 80% year over year increase? And like, wow, that gets my attention during a pandemic. So was excited to get to talk to you a couple months ago. And Rebath had that last year and then is on track to have another successful year. And who better to talk to than the Chief Revenue Officer? So thank you for joining me today and sharing on a broader scale than just our conversation.
No, but thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I know you joined Rebath not quite 2 years ago, was it? Or just over 2 years ago?
December of 2018.
Okay.
So time flies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been about 4 years.
And you have your own run a marketing firm for 15 years as
Yes.
the president. And so how did you come to terms yourself to make that leap from president of a marketing firm to chief revenue officer for in the industry tangential to construction, not exactly construction, but tangential to that?
So I would say my career in marketing was basically focused on brands that were like lifestyle brands or travel and tourism, something that had to do with consumers' discretionary income and
Mhm.
helping them enjoy their lives a little bit more. So I've always been attracted to those types of brands in the first place. And I was introduced to Rebath with my agency back in 2016. And Rebath, be it that it has been a company for more than 40 years, they were still kind of going through this identity crisis. They had been a dealership prior to becoming a franchise organization back in about 2014. And about 2016, they hired their COO was promoted to their CEO, Brad Hillier. And at that time, he wanted to really change the way that Rebath was thought about from a consumer's perspective and really who that consumer was. Rebath always believed that their consumer was their franchisee, which that is part and parcel of the whole picture, but it's the end consumer and what does that consumer experience look like? And so they were really product focused at the time. And so they wanted to be a consumer experience focused. And me coming from a background of heavy branding and consumer experiences, it was a real good fit for me at the time. So that was back in 2016. And what attracted me to the Rebath brand is first and foremost that it was a lifestyle brand, interior design and remodeling in the home. Bathroom remodeling is really key to some of the things that I love to do in the first place. But second, I just felt that while it was, it had some great foundational portions of the business, that it still had a lot of opportunities for growth, and I found that truly exciting. So in 2016, I wasn't quite ready to leave the agency, but what attracted me was, as an agency owner, you only have a part and parcel of the overall marketing performance or
Mhm.
plan or strategy. So you handle the strategy and you pass the creative on to your client. And so what I felt was missing, that I couldn't see it all the way through, and I really wanted to see it all the way through. And what I found was the variety that I had with my own agency, with different clients and different brands. That was one of the things that was concerning to me going into one brand. But what I found with Rebath is that through the franchisees, you still had the variety of different clients because you had
Mhm.
franchise owners in different different sizes of themselves, different experiences. So I was able to still have that variety that I enjoyed, but also to see something through to the end. And again, like I said, there was just a huge opportunity with Rebath for growth and brand awareness. So.
Yeah, that was good and a good vision because that was before the pandemic, which contributed to the opportunity for growing as well. I just think that's so interesting, your internal thought process that you went through there, because I know a lot of people hesitate to pursue a new opportunity unless it's exactly the same career path, that it exactly lines up. So I think looking for those similarities and the commonalities, and still a growth opportunity for yourself is key. So thank you for sharing all of that.
Yeah, I certainly think it's also expanding what you're learning at all times.
Mm-hmm.
I did start as the interim CMO and then full-time CMO. So at that time, I had just marketing. But soon after, probably in early 2019, I took on national accounts and partnerships, which expanded my experience and knowledge. And I had some experience in the past partnering when I worked for an agency, partnering with the state of California through my term with an agency that represented Amtrak. So I had partnership experience, but it was certainly opening up the opportunities to expand my career knowledge. And I felt that, the first move was as a CMO, but then broadening to national accounts, and now also taking on franchise sales.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so good. And step in, take a chance on yourself, and believe in the foundation of the skills that you've built to take that bigger role. So yeah, congratulations for doing that and for stepping in.
Well, I think it's also, it's constantly learning.
Mm-hmm.
It's making sure that you have humility and understanding that you don't know everything. But I'm completely grateful that I have a great team here. We have great private equity owners that have, they have a pod group, they have an operations group that helps us learn. I'm constantly going to events to learn. I'm learning from the franchisees all the time. So I think what comes with the confidence is the ability to say, I don't know everything, but I want to learn. I'm constantly trying to research, and we research the consumer all the time too.
Mm-hmm.
So the confidence comes with the knowledge that I seek.
That was something we talked about a lot in our previous conversation that stood out to me, the humility of the humility and the comfort in not knowing everything, and the confidence that comes to it's okay to not know everything. And when you try to go work with these franchises, and they've been in the business for a long time, some of them, and you try to fake your way through or go head to head with them, they can tell, and they don't buy into that. And they know you're new, back then, they know you're new, so it doesn't win them over. So when
Right.
you admit what you don't know, and then I remember you talking about being just open to learning from them, and you mentioned so many times listening to them,
Mhm.
and meeting them where they are and what their needs are.
Yeah, I certainly think, even through when I had my own agency, it's really the first key to success. People always think, I want to exceed their expectations. I want to listen to them and meet their expectations, because I want them to know that I've heard them. And then I'll say, okay, let's take it to the next step. So I think it's super important that people understand that you are listening, because they have been in this business, and all these franchisees, they come from all different types of backgrounds. They are entrepreneurs, and we have data. I live on the data. I think that's what's great about marketing is, kind of my career path in marketing has always been, oh, I think it's working, oh, it's not working. But now you have so much data out there to support what is working and what isn't working, and research as well. So I really I I really find that the data helps you tell the story. And so if you show them the data behind it, they can appreciate that. And then you listen to them, and they want to be valued. They understand that, hey, I've been in this business. They want to be heard, but they also want to be valued. And I can appreciate that for sure.
And then with value, the other big thing you talked about was provide value first. And so when you're bringing data that they don't all have, then that builds trust with them, the franchisees, and then they They trust you because you're bringing something to them, and you can still learn and be open, but you're providing something, providing value first. I remember you saying that was a big thing too.
Yeah, I think certainly. I mean, we're in a franchise business. What we want to do is we want it to make it easy. I mean, it's funny because with Rebath, we want it, to make it easy for people to remodel their bathrooms. We do everything from design to done, but we want the same things for our franchisees. We want to make it easier for them to do the business at hand so that they can scale their business and grow. So what we do is we really develop this data to research best practices, to understand the consumer. We do a lot of research for the consumer, and then B, to find out who's doing it well, and then sharing those best practices so that they understand that we're not just sitting here coming up with ideas on our own without really understanding what's happening out in the field. I just recently traveled to, I think, I don't know, 6 states, visiting like 6 different franchisees for our national accounts program. We have a national partnership with Lowe's, which we're very grateful for. And we also have a partnership with Home Depot, which has been about 15 years back. But with Lowe's, we wanted to, and with Home Depot, we want to make sure that our franchisees are driving the performance in the stores and engagement. And so what we did is we traveled around to different states to see, what are they doing, talking to the store managers, to the DMISs, to the owners, to their staff, and find out really what is working for them, because they were the best performers. And then we're going to take that information and then share it with the network. So I think it's really doing your research, doing the legwork, and having some type of humility and understanding for the franchisees, so that they know that you value their position as well.
Yeah, and don't you think that applies to other types of businesses too? So
Yeah, certainly. I mean, certainly. I mean, we're all human. I mean, we want to make sure that communication is key, and to make sure that we're heard, and that we're all in alignment. So I think consistency, communication, alignment is often key to success.
Mhm. And providing the value, giving something. I think that was such a great point. And
Yeah.
bringing something they don't have
Yeah.
builds those relationships, whether it's a franchise location, or your business model might be similar to Rebath with franchises, but it could be the corporate headquarters where there's offices around the globe. So they're it's not technically a franchise, but other offices. And then what are you providing to all those other locations?
Yeah,
So,
certainly. I mean, you have to bring some sort of value
yeah.
to the plate for sure. Otherwise, to your point, they're just going to see that if there's no value, then there's not going to be a point in the growth in your career, or your career path, or the company. So I really strive as hard as possible to provide value. And I also think that has to do with not just the franchisees and the consumer, but also our staff. And we're all busy. We're kind of a lean, mean fighting machine here. We're about 35 people. We're growing. Our private equity partners are certainly involved. They're new. We just were sold in November, and so they definitely want to invest in staff, which I think is great. So we're certainly going to grow so that we can help support the franchisees, because I think that is the biggest concern right now, is because we've had such drastic growth, that they want to be able to get to the next step, and so we need to build out more systems for that. So I think that bringing that value, bringing more staff so that we can focus and have more resources for them is important.
Good. That's fantastic. I love to hear that. And companies do go through ups and downs, and need to change, just like the market, and customers change. And we didn't predict a pandemic 4 years ago, or 4 or 5 years ago. So things change in the world, and companies need to be able to adapt and be agile enough to make changes as well. So I know your organization had some of those as you came in, but then you were able to step in and contribute to those and speed some of those up. And you mentioned the national accounts and Lowe's, and I do think that's so fascinating to be that partner with them and how that works. And at first, I don't know, if I were one of the franchisees, I might think, oh, that's going to take away my business. And there might be something competitive or something about that, but that really contributes to their business.
It certainly does. I think that the great thing that we found with Lowe's is that they appreciated our brand as much as we appreciated their brand. They wanted the consumer to know we do co-branding in all of their stores, and they wanted their consumer to know that they were dealing with Rebath because we do have a 4.7 star rating. And so
Yeah.
the most important thing to Lowe's is that their customers are served and have a great customer experience and great customer satisfaction. So I think that partnership is a great partnership. We developed the partnership. We launched the program. I think it was about 3 weeks after we signed the contract. We had been working for 9 months without a contract because it was just a good partnership. There was confidence in each other. There was loyalty. There was communication. And I think that goes a long way. I think culture is a part and parcel of not just your staff, but also the partnerships that you create.
Yeah, right on. And not to be afraid of, I would want companies out there, leaders out there, to not be afraid of pursuing partnerships with other organizations with similar values and similar desire for growth, and try something and do something bigger together. That's
I think that there's a ton of companies out there that can help each other. One thing that I don't think that we've tapped into or utilized well enough as of yet is really the B2B referrals, because if you especially in-home services, I mean, you're talking about somebody coming into your home. There's something a little nerve-wracking about that. So if you have a great experience with a company and they refer you to another company that they like, then you feel a little bit more comfortable. So I think that right now, we want to capitalize on that with more partnerships and more referrals, B2B referrals. I think that's key to our success as well, I think.
Yeah, awesome. And so what's next? What's next for you? What's on the horizon?
Oh my goodness. So as you know, we grew 80% year over year. I do think, pandemic, everybody was in their homes. So I think remodeling was huge at that point. We are still growing. I think, the partnership with Lowe's really gave us, straight up and to the right momentum. So really stabilizing that, making sure that our franchisees, that we build out additional systems for them to make their business easier so that they can grow. So I think that's certainly technology. We just hired our first CTO.
Oh, very good.
1,000, she came to us. So another woman in the executive suite. So we're happy to have her. We're thrilled to have her. So I think technology, especially when it comes to in-home customer service and customer experience, that's what the consumer is really looking for.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for 3D design models. They're looking for an end-to-end. The franchisees are looking for an end-to-end digital solution. So I think for us, the next step is really simplifying so that we can grow. We have 120 locations in about 46 states. So for us, we still have some space to fill. So we're on track to fill about 20 or sell 20 franchises this year.
Awesome.
And we're selling internal as well as external to franchisees. Again, to the value point, understand the value of our brand and are buying additional territories. So we find that exciting. So I think certainly a lot of growth for us on the horizon. I think that simplifying will help our franchisees grow as well. And for me, just being a part of that and helping, just learning more, experiencing more so that I can broaden my experiences and my understanding of the business, because I truly do love this business. I felt like there was such an opportunity in a fragmented industry. I mean, there's thousands of general contractors, and it's, remodeling your home is just can be very scary. It's always over time, over budget. Mm-hmm. And and once they leave, you don't know who to contact. So with us, I feel that, we have 100% of our franchisees have 100% employees instead of subcontractors.
Ah,
And we do installs in 2 to 5 days. So we're in and out of the house. We have warranties. So we really alleviate a lot of those fears for the consumer. And just like you saw, hardware stores, there were a lot of mom and pop hardware stores in the past, and you saw consolidation, and you saw Home Depot, and you saw Lowe's. I do see that the remodeling industry is going to consolidate. I
hmm.
think that with the internet and the ease of online, that it's easier to consolidate, and I think that people want to go with a brand, a national brand, that they can trust,
Hmm.
and with a concept that is easy for them. So I mean, we have prepackaged meals all the time. So why not have
Right.
prepackaged remodeling? I mean, you have a curated selection, so we can help them develop that design. So I think for us, my our CEO Brad always, he's like, what's your vision? What do you want? And he laughs at me because I use big words sometimes. He says I use flowery words, but
Oh,
I think that we want to revolutionize the way people remodel their bathrooms. And I think that we're on the tipping point of being able to do that. It's, remodeling is a $14 billion business, and for the bathrooms, and we've only got a tiny bit of that market share. So I certainly think we have a lot of opportunity to grow.
awesome. Well, now is the time to to be a franchisee because you're getting the systems. They're way better now than they were 5 or 10 years ago. That's got to be for sure. So,
Yeah.
so much, and then there is growth on the horizon. So, and with that vision in place, that'll be, the next step in the growth. You mentioned your CTO, and I do want to. We can end with this one, but I do want to circle back to as a woman in a male-dominated field. Share your thoughts on that. What differences do you see? What do you think has helped you be successful or stand out in a positive way?
Well, what I think it is a male dominated industry as far as the workforce. But when you talk about the consumer, it is a woman's, it's more skewed towards female than it is male. So being able to have that perspective, I think certainly helps, having that consumer perspective. And I think that having that empathy or understanding that it is a fragmented industry with a fear-based, and understanding how to emotionally connect.
Mm,
And I think that empathy and emotionally connecting are some of the women's strengths. So I feel that connecting with that consumer has really been able to give me some added value that I give to the franchisees, and certainly starting with marketing, which was my strength, certainly helped. So I think that, in this male-dominated industry, you just have to show that you're confident, that you have some humility, and to make sure that you're always backed by numbers and data,
mm.
so that you're not, so that they have some kind of foundation for what you're trying to say.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I like how you look at what can you bring instead of where am I different or what's wrong with this or what's hard about it. You look at what do I have in common or what can I bring, and I like that in an analysis of what can you do to go forward.
Yeah, and I think my history, and I think the knowledge in advertising is always like, what are the pain points?
Yeah.
Let me understand from your perspective, what's going on, what are you seeing, and really opening up that dialogue. I think has helped for sure.
And I saw data, and the 6.5% of women work in the male dominated occupations. So that's not that many. And you're one of them that is paving the way and doing things well and right and making a difference. And much appreciated. And I appreciate your success there. And it's fun to see. And I'm watching even more now And I appreciate your time today. Thank you for
Oh, thank
sharing
you, Kelly.
the perspective from a woman, but also hopefully the people that watch the broadcast will see from a marketing standpoint, national accounts, franchisee, get some great ideas from Sharon Villegas with the Chief Revenue Officer with Rebath. So best wishes going forward. Smooth
Thank,
sailing ahead.
thank you. We hope so. Yeah, for sure. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate your time.
Thank you.